Okay. What we gotta do now is modify this rim. Do that by using reamers here. So what you do is you take your nipple, you measure it. So we're about 280 roughly. So you measure the rim size holes in here. 303. 303. And another one over here somewhere. 304, 303. Okay, so then you grab some reamers. So 5/16 is 312, which is a little on the big side, but would work. And the next one down to 64s, I think it was 19, and we're at 297. So that's the size we're going to use. If you really don't know what you're doing, you go to the bigger one. The bigger the hole is, the more misalignment you can have without binding. So it might be better to use the bigger one. But I don't like using big ones that I don't have to. So, take your drill motor, take your reamer, that's your rim modification tool. Now if you order a rim from Buchanan, they will drill the rim correctly for you because they come undrilled. Not these steel ones, but like aluminum ones. They don't make them fit correctly. But we're dealing with what we can buy aftermarket, so we gotta make it fit. So what we gotta do is figure out what angle we need to have this split the hole at, and we're gonna drill every hole that way. So there's 10 holes at each angle. There's 40 holes. You got 4 different angles. That makes 10 holes you gotta drill at each angle. So all we gotta do is figure out what angle is gonna make this work correctly. And we can do that by looking at our spoke patterns. So I can look at this spoke right here, see what the angle is. Go over 4 holes, which is this one. And I can move it around to match what that is. Now I know it has to be flatter than what it is. And I know I got to aim for up in here. So all I can do is, instead of aiming for this hole right here, I'm going to aim for this hole over here. Like that. So that should give me enough what I need. Hopefully. We'll find out. So we know that hole's going that way, so we go to the next one, same thing. And we're doing about the same thing again. We're aiming for up here and aim for the next hole over. That's all it takes. You gotta do that every time. So obviously it gets in the way of my table here, so I'm going to start sliding the rim over. So like I said, it's right now it's aiming over here. I know I gotta get over here somewhere. So I'm going to aim for over here. We have to change the angle up and down to match what we're doing. So, and that changes our angle. So you're not taking much out, but you're modifying it quite a bit actually. So the difference in the hole is not much, but the result that you get from the nipple going through it is. So before it was aiming like over here. See now, it'll go over here. You're still going to want to pull straight. It's better than what it was. It's going to allow you some movement. Now the spoke is going to want to bend a little bit. So right now it's not bending, it's not letting it be free enough to go over there. You see what's happening over here on the nipple side. See it's going like that. So it's not letting me do what I want to do. It's going to help, but it's going to want to bend the spoke a little bit. So I can go to a little bit bigger hole and try that and see if that helps me any. But I don't like going any bigger than I have to. It's pretty much going to just have to be like that. So, and if you come through with a bigger reamer, like the 5/16 right here, and you put it in the hole and you move the hole all the way over like this and then punch it through, it's going to actually move the cutter over deeper, which would help you. So that's an improvement. So, but I can do the same thing by running this thing more accurately. Instead of putting it in a hole and rotating, I can actually come in a side hole and drill straight in. That way it'll take the metal off to one side, not the other side, which will help us on our angle. So I'm going to try that. The spokes will bend to fit, but it's just a matter of different ways of doing the same thing. Alright, so I'm going to get over here out of the way. I'm going to try this other direction, bending a little bit, and see what it does. Over here out of the way, so you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, let's go try another one here. Okay, we know what we're doing. This hole right here is the one we're working on. Okay. Definitely allows for a lot more misalignment. Okay, I'm going to try doing these holes now. Okay, here's the hole that we're dealing with. We're dealing with these holes right here. So, that's the one I just did at that angle. 1, 2, 3, 4 is this one. Stay like that. I'm going to try it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Same angle. Okay, that's definitely helping our issue we're doing that. Look at that. Okay, we're back. So the difference between the two ways of doing it there, it's the first way I did, I stuck the reamer through the hole and I rotated it over. That made the hole bigger, but I didn't really move it over to let the spoke lay over more correctly in the hole. So now what I'm doing, when you stick it in like this, you can see it's that way, and then when you roll it over at an angle, it's not as much of a gap on the back side now. Because now what I'm doing, I'm coming here with a hole, like this, instead of going like this, you can see how it is, going like that, I'm actually going at this angle here and drilling it straight through. So I'm making the hole target them where we want. I'm not cutting the material out of this side of the hole, I'm cutting all out of this other side. And that allows it to rotate the dimple further, which is going to allow it to be straighter. Yeah, damn thing. It's hard to do this when it's in the air you can't get your finger to. So now when the spoke is in there, it used to be over here. If you look at it so I can rotate it, you see it still stays in a dimple now. And I'm going from this angle to that angle, which is what I want to do. See, boom. But we're still staying in a dimple now, so it's still being supported. We're not going to bend the spoke so bad. So that's a lot better way of doing it than I used to do, which is stick it in and rotate. Now I'm just drilling straight through at the proper angle. Alright, so I'm going to do all of these holes. So it's all about doing the one you're doing. Like I said, I'm not going this way, I am going like this here. I'm drilling straight through like that. And so that makes a big difference on what you're doing. So now the hole is more oval looking. Okay, so every fourth one we do, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the next one's over here. And I can't do that because the nipples are in there right now. But you can see how the misalignment of where we have it right now is. That's what has to be changed. Alright, I'm going to do all of these holes. I'll be back. Alright, back on this wheel. A lot of interruptions today. Okay, so I got all these holes all cut out here now. So now I got to deal with this spoke here that still doesn't want to go in here. So we're having a problem, or I'm having a problem with it. So the problem is we're binding up here trying to make it go down. So when you push this down, see how it lifts the brake up there in the air? So it's hitting on this spoke here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the location of this other spoke here and see if I can make it work better. So I'm going to move it over one hole and get rid of this spoke being here. Like that. Let me see, can I do that or not? No, I can't do that because that is on the, it's on the same row as spoke. See, this spoke here is too high. It's not letting me go in there. It's hitting on the spoke really heavy. So to make that go down like that, it doesn't work. This dimple's too low. It needs to be higher up. This rim is fighting me. Alright, so I thought it was hitting on one of these other spokes. I could just change it, but that's not what's happening. Now the other thing is we might not be square. If we lift this thing up a little bit higher, it's making it worse, not better. This rim has to be up off the table a little bit to be where it's actually going to sit. You can see how much it bends it down when I do this. So gotta figure out what I'm going to do. Gotta do something different. Okay, let me play with this a little bit. Let's see what I'm going to do.